Good evening, everyone. This is Jennifer Randive coming to you again with Conversations and Conscious Change. Today, I'm joined by an amazing woman who I've had the pleasure of knowing for a couple of weeks. But you know what? Every lovely woman, man, or whoever it is that I interview has got some interesting stories. And today, we're going to be speaking about a woman who has looked at life in a totally different way. Everything she planned that she would actually gain, and she had made all these plans of the future and what's going to happen. And when plans don't go as planned, what do you do? How do you show up? So I'd like to welcome Tanya Mattox, an amazing woman who is taught me a few things. So thank you for that. She is a medical business professional from the Michigan State Medical Society and has 20 years of medical office administration experience. Wow, that must be something. So, why don't you tell us, Tanya, welcome to the call, and share with us what exactly is this medical office administration all about? I'm so interested to find out.
Thank you, Jennifer. Yes, well, my medical business office experience, I am the coordinator of communications and logistics.
Wow.
Some would call it receptionist.
Okay, but I find that role in itself such a vital role simply because you're getting to meet the relatives of the patients, and it
Yes.
takes a certain kind of strength and ability to be able to tackle someone who's in pain, someone who's in grief, someone who's in anything. I mean, it's a remarkable thing to be able to do it. So, can you share something about that as to how do you go about keeping your composure and yet dealing and working with people who are coming with all different kinds of situations? How do you do that? I mean, that's a skill and an art in itself.
Yes, it's really something because, like you said, people come in sick or a serious, really serious health challenge because we've had a lot of breast cancer patients come through, people with pancreatic cancer, which is pretty serious, things like that. And to be able to greet them and talk them through it and give them hope has been really incredible. And that's been fulfilling to try to help them shift their focus on their pain and what they're experiencing and having some help in the skill of the surgeons that I work for and that I represent. And that usually is something that gives a lot of comfort to them. If I can assure them that they're in excellent hands. And for those who are concerned about their employment, that's where I get my greatest enjoyment, I think, for people who are having trouble with their disability with their employers, and me advocating for them and making sure that they get their coverage while they're going through such a serious process. So those are the types of things that I deal with on a
My
daily
God,
basis.
that there is fulfilling in itself for sure.
Yes.
Helping, calming someone down who's
Mhm.
already stressed out is truly an art form. And hats off to you. Tanya is a woman who doesn't just come with you know being a medical officer or in administration, but she truly believes in the Tanya that I have read about. Truly believes in making a change in a woman's life, helping her to be more, do more, and have more. So, what is it that you do to help someone create that?
Okay, I certainly will. Thanks for asking that question, Jennifer. I like women to see the awesomeness in themselves and to see their possibilities. everyone, every woman, every person has a superpower. And I like to see them tap into that.
Wonderful.
Yes. Be
So,
it kindness or something that they think maybe doesn't make that much of a difference, but pointing them in the direction to see how they can use that to empower themselves in their lives.
okay, cool. I mean, that's an interesting thing. But besides all of that, you have also taken up the mantle of being the U.S. country chair for all G100, Oneness and Wisdom. So could you tell us more about that? I'm interested in knowing more about you in that role because I believe congratulations are in order because it was just, I think, 2 or 3 weeks back that you actually stepped into the role. How did that
Yes.
make you feel?
Well, I was honored, excited, and I had a bit of soberness. Okay, what can I do first to help the women in the U.S. to accomplish their goals and to receive the benefit that they're looking for from participating in G100? So
And,
that's
what do you think about the G100 Oneness and Wisdom chapter in the US? You've got quite a few people there.
yes, I do. I love this chapter. It's awesome. There are so many women who are gifted, lots of healers, lots of women in other sectors of business and life. And to see them come through and just share what it is they have has been really, really amazing. And I like the support that I'm seeing with one another. And I'm a big cheerleader. I call myself the chief cheerleader. That's how I look at it. So I am looking forward to getting to know every woman that I can in the organization to find out what it is that will make their affiliation successful for them.
Which is amazing. And
Yeah.
hats off to Dr. Harbeen Arora Rai, who's given all of us the opportunity to truly reach out, touch,
Yeah.
move, and inspire all the women that
Yes.
come into our zone. So, what an honor and a privilege. So, hats off to her. And thank you very much, Dr. Harbeen, if you ever do listen to the podcast.
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right, really. So, with all of this stuff, you mentioned that you had dreams and you had planned out everything. And once the kids, so you have how many children?
4. I
Four
have
kids
4.
and
Yes.
8 grandchildren. Holy
Yes.
moly, that's amazing. And you had decided that once the kids were all settled,
Mhm.
that you and the hubby would go traveling.
Yes.
What happened? Have you fulfilled that goal of yours?
Well, Jennifer, not to the extent I had planned. I had those goals, and then I was given a diagnosis of MS. And with that diagnosis came an intolerance for heat. And every place I had planned to visit and travel to was hot. I like tropical. So that was quite a blow to my goals and dreams. And I saw that I needed to reframe my expectation.
Mm.
And that came in the form of saying, okay, Tanya, just research when the highest points are in that particular area and go on the off season. And so when
The
it's not so
advantage. Exactly.
right. Exactly. Even though if they have air conditioned hotel rooms, I have no problem staying inside until it's more temperate for me to travel outside and do a few things. But I'm glad it was a short term
Mhm.
disappointment for me, the idea that I could not go to all these wonderful places that I wanted to travel to. there are lots of Caribbean islands. There was Hawaii. There are other places in Europe, and trying to match the seasons and all that. Seeing that I could actually do that, and like I stated, go in an off season, really lifted that disappointment. It changed it for me. I could craft a different goal. It
Which is
gave me something.
amazing.
Yeah.
Exactly. The sometimes the universe works in wondrous ways,
Yes.
and they say if one door closes, another window opens up. So, what was your window in all of this?
Well, one window for me was the beauty of the World Wide Web. While, while we were in the pandemic lockdown and had to stay indoors and all that, I decided, I did a couple times on social media, virtual travel Fridays. So I would go to Pinterest or different travel sites of the different countries that I enjoyed and would just take a clip, a picture of whatever that was. And that would be a focal point for me for that day or the week or whatever. So I had my virtual travel experiences.
Which is cool. I mean, can you imagine the benefits of that? No stress of travel,
Right.
your own room, enjoying the beauty, and
Mm-hmm.
encapsulating it in your whole day. I mean, what amazing. See how
Yes.
creative you are, Tanya. It's amazing to be able to go on that. And some would actually wallow in self pity and go, oh my God, now I can't do this. But see how creative you are that you actually went into opening up a different avenue to be able to enjoy what it is you've always loved, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Kudos to you, lady. Right. So tell
Yeah.
us a bit about what it is that you do as a board member for the exclusive senior resource services. What exactly is that all about?
Well, my wonderful sister who I met through G100, Deborah Crowley, has started this nonprofit exclusive senior services center.
Wow.
And it's a one-stop shop for seniors and their resources and helping them with what they need that perhaps they've not been able to do, but either they don't have family to
Mm,
help them.
mm,
They will be able to come to exclusive resource, senior resource services to get help with paperwork,
mm,
to get help with transportation if they needed me, us just being a resource for them to have services. And
mm.
my particular focus in the nonprofit is HIPAA related, helping them to navigate that and getting their information together for their family, be it a power of attorney or helping them to understand that part of the process
Mhm.
and who can have access. And I'm a big proponent of people understanding that they do have a voice in their own medical care and being their own advocate. I found that out as a result of one of my own health challenges. It was it was a brief thing, but I learned from the nurse taking care of me. Why don't you have one of your doctors take care of this? And I was thinking that I had to go with who I was referred to. And
Mm.
that's when I learned that you, as a patient, have the final say. You have a choice who you
Exactly.
have
That's the
to
choice.
for.
Yeah. You're the
Yes. So,
choice point in every area, including
right.
medical.
Right. So to have that information to be able to share that with the clients with the exclusive senior resource centers, I'm looking forward to that.
That's
So
an
they don't
amazing.
feel helpless.
Yeah. So there's the mother in you coming across in everything that you do, I might say.
Everything I say, if you get within 2 inches of me, you're in danger of being mothered.
Now, I wouldn't mind being mothered because I love mothering other people. So yes, it'll be a very pleasant thing for me to experience. So now you talk about being an author of Young Adults 101, a resource handbook, contributing author. So can you tell us, I mean, what made you write this book? the young adults 101. Because it's quite
Oh,
it's an amazing diversity that you bring and that's what I find interesting because it's not just a one track thing that you do. You've got your hands in different pies and all seem to be
mhm.
doing well. So we like to know the secret, lady.
Well, Young Adult 101 was inspired
Mm,
after our eldest child came home from college on a break. There was some business he needed to take care of, and I noticed that apparently I missed giving him some pieces of information. So I began to take notes. I began to write different notes throughout the journey, and I compiled it all in a little handbook, Young Adult 101. I don't
mm,
know that any of my children read it, but these were things that I felt like they needed to know.
mm.
And then it began to evolve a bit. And I said, well, let me write it up as a book, not just for the my kids, but as a handbook. Because there's so many things as adults we just do automatically. And
Exactly.
it's easy, it's very easy, I found out, to miss some of those finer points. So I documented them, for instance, going on a job interview,
Mm,
the preparation you need to make,
mm, mm, mm,
the benefit of taking a test drive to make sure that you won't run into any difficulties getting lost and being late
mm.
on
Correct,
your interview.
correct.
Right. And also learning to live with other people when you go off to college. And everyone's not the same and it's different, and recognizing that. And just some of those pointers are what I put in the book. I thought it was pretty important for young adults to know, and especially if they're leaving home for the first time.
Oh yes, getting them prepared for what it is that they need to be aware of that they may not be. I think
Oh,
it's
right.
it's a brilliant idea. You see, this is what it is: being innovative and being creative.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of the time when I was going through a whole lot of upheaval, and I didn't know what exactly it is that I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had traveled extensively, and I had done every course under the sun. I mean, from being a Reiki master to landmark forum champion. I mean, did the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting because in everything that I learned and I was exposed to, I
Mm-hmm.
picked up a couple of golden nuggets along the way. So what I did was that I had transcribed whatever it is that I like to write and listen
Okay.
to. And that's how I created an audiobook. And I went and did the recording of it on my birthday, I remember, when I was 50.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
said, this is the gift I'm going to give to myself. And weirdly enough, everyone else said, what is it that you're doing, Jennifer? And I would say, well, I've compiled this thing and it's fun for me. And then I created an audiobook called Being the CEO You of Your Life and Living. So what exactly
That's
it is.
awesome.
Exactly. But that's exactly it. We all, each one of us has got within us this
Mm-hmm.
innate capacity and ability to create something that comes so naturally through us. And then we think it's no big deal,
Right.
you know? And the funny thing is this, that if you were to actually look at that, it's an ability and a capacity that flows through you. That is something unique about you that has to come through you because no one else can get it, right?
Yes,
There's certain
right.
topics that we all should not just say no big deal, but actually
Right.
take time to nurture that because that is an ability. And I think what you've done with that is it's truly remarkable because many people would love to receive that. Is it being sold somewhere?
Yes, it's on Amazon
Wonderful.
US, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to think, I have to see if it's on the international as well.
Okay. So possibly you would like to give us the link so that we can put it along with the transcript or the bio that we're going to be adding to podcast.
Yes.
Um, Tell us about being a panelist on the Women Economic Forum in Bangalore, India. It was on domestic violence and awareness.
Yes.
Wow.
Hmm.
When you
That
choose
was
something, when you choose something, it ain't something small, honey.
right. Well, it was amazing that that was being covered. And I was in what they called a parallel session,
Okay.
and it was the role of the bystander in domestic violence.
Okay.
And that was very interesting. I was raised in a home where my stepdad was an abuser. My mom was a victim of domestic violence.
Wow.
And he had a very good friend, and I could not understand it, but there was one really terrible incident that happened in the home when his best friend and companion were there. And I could not imagine how he could be friends with someone who would brutalize their spouse in that way. So that particular parallel just seemed to have me written all over it, the
Mm-hmm.
role of the bystander. And
Mm-mm-mm.
then on a more uplifting note, and it was such a blessing for us, my mom had a friend in California who opened her home to my mom and her two kids for us to come after that really terrible incident.
Mm.
So that bystander in the
Mm.
incident was really a
Wow.
blessing.
Wow.
So I had the two perspectives. So that was a really empowering and enriching experience for me to participate on that panel.
Yeah, it must have been really amazing. And to share that kind of information with people who possibly didn't know about it, but now have become aware of it. Amazing.
Yes.
I also see that you are into being a certified etiquette professional. And it
Yeah.
really comes out in the poise that you have when you speak. So ladylike and brilliant. Please tell us more about this. I think some of us could do with that. I know I could.
Oh, you're wonderful. You are wonderful. What I like about etiquette to me is it is a leveler. It puts everyone on the same footing.
Mm.
If you can manage a dinner table when you go out, if it's either on some high level important dinner, some state dinner, or if it's at the neighborhood cafe, there is something very empowering about looking at that table and knowing which eating utensil to choose.
I know.
Yes.
I've actually
So
had people who have fumbled with that, and I go to the rescue. So, yes,
yeah,
I know
oh,
what
very
that's
good. And that's a blessing. And I can relate to being in that same situation. So that I thought was it just had my name written on it again.
about. I know.
The
And it
whole
comes
idea of
naturally.
etiquette.
It comes
Yes.
naturally. And I think you
And
have the poise to be able to really do that with a lot of style and finesse.
thank
So,
you.
congratulations on that. Well done.
Thank
So, so I'm going to ask you a question which is off the charts now.
you.
Tanya, when someone is approached with something that they truly are in love with and they really want to do, and they don't get the opportunity as yourself to actually
Mhm.
get there, how do you suppose they should tackle it?
I think it's good to begin with how attached to them is that particular goal. Is that something they feel deep in their gut, deep in their spirit? It's as if you know that this is the thing that you were supposed to do, or you needed that for your soul. So to look for other ways to achieve that same goal. Is there another resource for you in an individual or in a little research? Is there some other way you can accomplish that? And it's amazing how that can happen. And just keeping focus, not belaboring it where you get down in the dumps about it, but just remaining optimistic. And what component in that particular goal or dream? Is there any other offshoot or something that you can replace it with? Like I had the dream of going in my studies to get a PhD. Finally, I could be a professional student. I love learning. And I had planned to do that, but with my MS diagnosis, I had some challenges. And then I was approached by the opportunity to given an honorary doctorate.
Wow, cool.
And
Man.
it's like, I didn't think I would be able to accomplish that goal. But as you would say, the universe had something else there. So to still have that designation without having gone through years of schooling and all that.
And I'm just wondering this. What if the universe actually thought, why does this lady have to have such an arduous journey of having to struggle with the books? Why can't I just gift her the opportunity by honoring her with the doctorate?
Yes, that's amazing.
Can you imagine how many
Yeah,
places that we just sometimes think that we have to have all the answers?
yeah.
And it takes a level of vulnerability
Mm-hmm.
and to actually let your barriers down of all the expectations that you have from any situation
Yes.
and allow the universe to give to you because that's what the job of the universe is, quite honestly.
Yeah,
The thing is this, are we willing to receive what is brought or given to us? That is the question.
that is.
It's really cool to actually see that. I mean, I've had so many amazing situations where I thought I had to do it. I was this Miss Perfect, perfection,
Mm-hmm.
till I was knocked over really many a time, and I still didn't get it. How thick could one be? When I finally got it, I actually had to learn how to get out of my own way.
Okay.
And which is what it is that I do for other people now. I've been there, done that,
Yes.
and I did it
You're
so
right.
beautifully. I was in my way all the time. So I know
Okay.
different nuances of
Mm-hmm.
people and them being in their way. And it's
Yeah.
such a relief to get rid of the drama and the trauma and
Mm-hmm.
the upset and the intrigue and say, oh my God, if I could stop thinking that I have to be perfect, what else
Yes.
would truly be possible?
Mm.
It's really remarkable. So, yes, one has done quite a few interesting things in one's life. I have a habit of asking my guest, is
Yes.
anything, any three things that you would like to leave the audience with, your pearls of wisdom,
Okay.
what would they be?
Be kind to yourself. Your voice is the greatest voice in your head. You can do it. Whatever it is, you really can do it.
Wonderful. Awesome. So, Tanya, before we say hasta la vista, there's one thing that I would like to share with you, and it's more about honoring yourself.
Mm.
Okay, so honoring oneself would be different for different people. So if I was to give you the opportunity today to honor yourself, what would that look like?
Oh.
I told you I've got full. It's all in the moment that something appears, and I
Yes.
have to ask it. So,
Yes.
so what would you consider as an honoring?
Mm. To gift me a space to just enjoy my surroundings, enjoy the place where I am, and do it over a nice cup of tea or hot coffee.
I see you're a coffee fan. It's a good morning
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
I love that. I say, okay, so where is the good morning? Then I see that amazing hot pot of coffee over there saying, good morning, good morning.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that, because this is something that I always say. And I'll end with this, that if it's so necessary for each one of us to find something that we truly enjoy. Because if we can enjoy something, what if we can employ that enjoyment in everything that we do? We do not have to make anything an Herculean task, quite honestly. And if everything that we did was truly coming from the space of being joyful when you do it, it's amazing and remarkable what other things actually start showing up, because you open up the doors of actually being joyful and happy. And we are here to be that. I don't understand why people have to go through so many deadlines and all these kind of things that we impose on ourselves. It's about chilling out, quite honestly, and actually having the joy, and everything that brings us joy, let's try and employ. So having said that, Tanya, it's been an honor to get to know you better. Thank you so much. And I'm quite sure everyone in Oneness and Wisdom already knows you, but I thought a little bit of touch of essence of Jenny coming in.
Yes.
A little deeper.
Thank you.
And let's get to know you a little better. So thank you for sharing your time with me. It's an honor and a privilege to work with somebody as yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you
And
very much.
I feel the same. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you, honey. God bless.